What's up, Andre? D-Bag Robot Gang. That's an interesting name there. How you guys doing? How's everyone doing today? We're going to do an extreme stream. We're going to call it a monsoon extreme stream because we're getting hit by a massive storm. We'll see if power actually holds up. What's up, Aviad? Lazy J? Mr. Bear? I'm not Mr. Bear. You don't know who you're talking to, son. Win Moon. Well, if you turn this chart upside down, we're mooning right now. Mooning right now. So, yeah, Bitcoin really died off this vine here. Didn't even come up and retest 8,500. Pretty crazy there. What the hell's going on in the other room? What's up, teen? Haribo stuck at 500. What to do? I'm not sure which. Are you talking about Ethereum? Because if you're stuck in Bitcoin from 500, I think you're... Well, you're probably still going to go into maybe have some more losses here in the future. We'll have to wait and see, but looks like, yeah, we're definitely going lower, ladies and gentlemen. Big vet holder here. How fucked am I? Pretty fucked. You're pretty fucked. Yeah, there's really no two ways about that. It's just been, you know, Ven. Obviously, VET used to be Ven. Ven has really just been an atrocious coin for a long time. You have to go to the daily to really get the perspective of how long Ven has been just destroying accounts. So this is why I say time and time again that, you know, hodling is not a good thing. Hodling Bitcoin a little bit different. So here's the bigger chart on Ven. But Ven was the coin, at least in my opinion, that was holding up the best. It had a nice little strong support rate about there and failing to break down. And now it's actually, this isn't, obviously VET is in the picture now, and it looks like it probably popped up, and now we're probably did something like that. So I don't have the exact numbers, but I think it was down like 20 or 30% over the past couple of days. So maybe it's a little lower. But yeah, so if you look at the Ven chart, we're still going into new lows looking similar like Nano. I don't hold, guys, this is a bear market, okay? There's no two ways about that. It's a bear market. You don't hodl anything. You don't hodl anything. So look at WAN. Is WAN bouncing? Aviad saying WAN is bouncing. I didn't say there were no bounces. And well, WAN's not bouncing, so I'm not quite sure. But I mean, to be honest with you guys, the past couple days on the Power Hour, we've really been looking at this market and just noticing how everything is destroyed. Yeah, I think I just misunderstood you there, Aviad. We've really been noticing how everything in the market is just generally destroyed, and it's bad, guys. It's just really bad. Yeah, I get you, Aviad. It's not bouncing. Yeah, no, WAN definitely not bouncing. Definitely not bouncing. Why does everyone call me a bear? I'm not a bear, ladies and gentlemen. I'm definitely not a bear. I just know how to read charts and tell it like it is. I'm not some fluff ball who's going to you know, give you a fluff and tug just to get the tip, which is you know, you're subscribed. That's why my subscribers have gone flat, because they don't like the real world situation that we're living in. So, oh, okay, well that's different, Calmly. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Would I be shorting Bitcoin right now, says Chris? Well, Bitcoin right now, it at least to me, appears to be kind of in a prolonged downtrend. So, I mean, while I usually don't recommend just blind shorting in a situation like this, it may be half-ass warranted. Well, not really warranted, but it may not be. What's up, Nick? How you doing, buddy? It may not be the worst thing in the world if you're looking for a position to take on a trade, but it's yeah, definitely not coming back anytime soon. Definitely is not coming back anytime soon. So we've been likening this run-up to these prior run-ups. Where's that line coming from? Oh, that was just an okay. Yeah, let's get rid of some of these lines. This one's valid. And get rid of this one. Probably get rid of this one too. I'm doing all right, Nick. Just waiting for this huge storm to blow through. We're getting a big haboob over here in Phoenix. It's pretty cool. See if I can give you guys some pictures of it. Maybe on Facebook. Probably get some good pictures on Facebook. People who are throwing it up recently. Time soon. Time soon in relation to what? I'm sorry. Kind of misunderstanding that question there. Guys, keep in mind there is about a 20-second delay between when I talk and when you hear me. So, you know, in some instances I may not be able to, you know, fully hear you. Or not really hear you, but really understand exactly what you're saying. Oh, alts definitely can be destroyed more. I mean, alts definitely can be destroyed more. It is a situation where things are going down. Things can always go down lower unless we're at zero. That's pretty much the only time where we can't go down any farther. Well, the alts are a great question. So here's Ethereum, kind of the king of the alts, right? And we've had this trend line drawn for a while now. This is the least aggressive trend line that you can draw on Ethereum, is this one right here. And with this bear flag, we're basically waiting. This is a big base to break down this long-term channel, which would not really be a you know, necessarily a good thing to do. What's up? What's up, Ted? Yeah, I got home, had to do a bunch of stuff for the haboob that's coming, and then I thought I'd jump on a live stream before power goes out. Not that I don't think it will this time. The storm. The power went out the other day for like 6-7 hours, which has never happened to me in my life in Arizona. As a matter of fact, it happened. Went out at like 6:30, came back on at 3:30. So that's what, 4, 5, 6, 9 hours. That's 9 hours. So power went out for 9 hours. That's definitely, you know, definitely something abnormal. But this storm right here is coming from the south side of the valley. I'm on the north side of the valley, so it's gonna have to blow through quite a bit to get to us here. In terms of shorting right now, oh, here you go. Here's the, I found one pop up. Here's what's heading our way right here. Is the big haboob coming from the South Valley there. So there's a big wall of dust. This is like a 60-mile wide wall of dust, guys. That's what's headed towards me. That's pretty cool. Pretty fun stuff. Pretty fun stuff right there. So, yeah, that's what's headed my way. Time to short Bitcoin now. Sorry, Ted. Kind of got distracted by myself. So, like I mentioned, you chat. We were chatting in Slack earlier. I mentioned the drop had already happened. This was the drop. This was the drop right there. Now, we're in a situation where we're probably going to just continue chopping lower, similar to the prior breakdowns that we've had. And we have the higher low scenario that I talked about in my past couple of videos. So far looks like it's well played out at this particular moment in time. And I would probably wait for the next bounce to short, just to be honest with you, Ted. I'd probably wait for that next bounce. I think right here, it's one of those, this would have been a good place to short out of. You're really not far out from there, though. Only at about $170, about 2%. It was a good volume. Volume's starting to decrease, though, already. You can see a big swing here, or I'm sorry, big volume candle here, big volume candle here. Reminds me of this area right here a little bit. But a lot more green right here, so I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. I don't think it's necessarily as bad. Let's see what the RSI has to say about the situation. RSI is basically flat. In terms of divergences, no real major divergences to speak of. There was the divergence here, and then No real major divergence there. But definitely increased volume here on the daily. And price action rules, so there you go. 7,500 recently has been an important level for Bitcoin. Breaking that to the downside is not a good thing, and I think, yeah, I think that's generally a bad thing. So if it can end up staying below 7,500, that's really going to not be healthy for this market. And if you look at the daily, we've already gone down for quite a significant amount of time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. So 6 days into this little downtrend, I think we're due a bounce, which is another reason why I don't necessarily say like blanket short down here, because we probably are due some kind of a rally, some kind of a resting period before we continue lower. I mean, obviously we can stair step lower incrementally forever. It generally tends to not work that way. So do some kind of a bounce. I'm just not sure what kind of a bounce we're going to get. I don't know. It's kind of a situation, like even over here we had, you know, in this top we had 1, 2, 3, and then a pause, and then 2 more, then 2-day pause, then 4 more, then a pause. You know, so this one kind of stair step lower. This one is either a lot weaker, meaning the buyers just can't believe it's not passing 8,000 and are not willing to step in, or the sellers aren't as aggressive, or the buyers are eating it up. You know, it's hard to say exactly which specific situation in that particular scenario right here. But right now the price action is lower. The volume is maintaining a higher level in the these 3 days here. A little bit lower on this day, but that's a consolidation day, so that's fine. This day's only 2 hours old, so it kind of is what it is. But you know, we'll see if volume can increase from here. But I don't know about a blanket short from here. Well, let's see what our risk would be. So you got risk coming up here about 1.85%. So it can throw back probably all the way back here to 2.59% higher, the 75.21 area, which is right where we broke down from. These breakdown points are very valuable, very important. And usually when you have a breakdown, it may throw. So here's one. Here's the breakdown. It threw right up into the breakdown point and really failed to get above that level here. You see this is where it broke. And then it popped right back up to it. And then tried to go over a couple times, failed, and then eventually failed over. So those breakdown points are important. Let's see if I can give you a different example. So here's a breakdown point right there. I want to try to find one that was. So here's one that threw back up into, then consolidated, then continued. Here's a breakdown point that never was retested. So a lot of these breakdown points don't get retested. This being one here. This may be another one. This would be the second real breakdown in this base, or in this move. I'm sorry, but it's not super aggressive. I would expect a little bit more aggression out of this move down here. But the volume is maintaining its higher clip, which is not bullish to me. Not really bullish to me. All right, see if I missed anything here. I love the extreme streams, but are you done with usual live videos? Rimla, no, I'm not done with my usual live videos. To be honest with you, folks, I don't know what, but making a recorded live video for me these days is really difficult to keep it on point. I don't know what it is. I've recorded several of them, but none of them I thought were good, so I haven't been putting them out. And so I did start doing more of the live streams, but I'm going to start scripting them a little more. I think that would help me out. This market is kind of wearing me out. I mean, to be honest with you. Usually, like if I'm trading in the stock market and I'm in a bear market, I'll go away for a month or two, and I won't be in the market. I'll literally just like look at it every once in a while, and then I'll be like, okay, it's still in a bear market, and I won't do anything. But in crypto, it's different. I've got to be on top of it all the time. I'm not a day trader. I'm more of a swing trader type of a person. So really, for me, it's kind of like once I give a really good, clear analysis of what I think is going to happen, as long as that video is valid, I kind of don't revisit it, which is probably bad for my YouTube views. But I think I need to get over that and just get on the horse and keep doing them. To be honest, even put out the ones that I think are bad. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens with that. But But yeah, so in my last video I made that I never released, I was talking about this high level consolidation with this channel. And keep in mind, guys, I also do the power hour every single day for, you know, between an hour and a half. And I get a lot. I get a lot of my Bitcoin fixed during the power hour. So that's also a little more difficult for me to kind of repeat that analysis again. I don't know. Verbalizing things for me isn't. I'm a trader. I'm not a marketer. I'm not a professional video person. I'm a trader. So there you go. What about Nano? What about Nano? Nano's destroyed. We keep track of Nano on the power hour spreadsheet here, basically for fun. At least I view it for fun. Did I take it off of it? Did I take Nano off? Oh, what is the one that we oh, there it is. I was gonna say, yeah, Nano is Nano is like the Godzilla. Is like Godzilla walked into a chart pattern and created Nano. Nano, it's just destroyed. I really hate it for the people that have been holding this, but guys, you can't hodl altcoins. I don't really mind people hodling Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to be here. It's going to be here for a while, but hodling altcoins is insane. It's quite honestly insane. There's nothing about altcoins, not even really Ethereum, not at this point in time. Yeah, it's really not even funny. It's not even funny how funny it is. Nano, let's go to the daily. You can't really get the full scope of how much you've been fucked. It's horrible. Everyone had whatever hopes they had for Nano. I don't know. I don't even care, to be honest with you. It's just been really bad. It's just been horrible. We had a semblance. So I had this little curving thing going on here. We had a little potential inverted head and shoulders. And I'm like, okay, let's give Nano a shot. It did try to break out of the inverted head and shoulders off the neckline right there, but an immediate failure. Just an abysmal and immediate failure with, I mean, people say it can't go any lower. Well, this one just dropped 47% from a buy point. Don't tell me things can't go lower. Don't tell me they're a good value. Don't ever tell me that. I will slap you. I will slap you with a hand. So what else has been just complete garbage? ICX, Samp, yeah, that one's been pretty bad. That one's been pretty bad. Ven has been bad as of late. We looked at that a little bit towards the top of the power hour. I say power hour so much these days. What else? Craig, are we going to 3,000? Well, it's looking like the roadmap is aiming towards the 3,000 direction right now. So it's kind of looking that way. I don't know about that specific level, but what about BAT? So yeah, BAT. We've been looking at BAT in this larger symmetrical triangle that it's been forming, and we had this trend line, but it really stopped respecting that trend line as of here. I'll give it this break of the trend line, but I won't give it this one. And now it looks like it's heading lower towards this trend line, lining up both of these lows. Whatever that means, I don't know, but I think it basically means, you know, everything's it's not good. It doesn't really look good at this moment in time. But you know, with crypto, if things turn around, they turn around in an instant. You can see this big spike right there. But as of right now, there's not a lot of hope for much in the market right now. I don't see anything really bullish. The only thing that we've been interested in really is ETP's been spectacular. We've been really on top of ETP, and it's really been good. If you guys haven't caught this one, I'm surprised. It's been on everyone's radar for a long time. It's up spectacularly, up 200% in a very short period of time, about a month, in a market where nothing is working. ETP's been working splendidly, coming out of this symmetrical triangle base, boom, breaking up right there. So we're looking for a consolidation for a potential entry. This may be the beginning of a consolidation, but we'll have to see if the rest of the market will drag this down in time. We'll have to see if that's even a thing. So XRP is actually holding up pretty good. I was a little surprised at how good XRP's been holding up recently. Obviously, from the longer term perspective, we broke this declining wedge pattern, but coming right here into most recent lows, we've had a little bit of support, which is different. And then what else has just been utterly destroyed? Well, I think our most horrible coin, or one of the most horrible coins in the market. I mean, there's a lot that's really destroyed. Walton coin looks really bad, if I'm remembering properly. So Walton coin looks really bad, really breaking a long-term trend line right there. Walton coin's dead. ZRX could look better. It definitely could look better. It's not broken, but it's not looking great. I have a feeling broken is on its way. There's actually a head and shoulders pattern here. I don't know if I pointed that out during the power hour or not. Why would I not have? Did I just completely miss a head and shoulders pattern? That would be abnormal. Usually chart patterns speak to me like I'm the frickin' chart pattern whisperer or something. So there's a very nicely formed head and shoulders. I don't know if I've actually mentioned that before or not. Unfortunately, it's kind of lower. Yeah, you can go to hell. Unfortunately, it's kind of lower on my list here. So I think by the time I get blasted through the other 40 coins I'm looking at, in a lot of instances, some of these escape me. So you can see right there, 7,000 Satoshi level. If you guys want a potential 50% downside move, or let's just call it 40% downside move, there you go. Zcash. Hold on, guys. I gotta go yell at a kid. All right, kid has been sufficiently yelled at. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it on a windy evening here in dusty Phoenix, Arizona. Appreciate you guys being here. If you guys have not yet, please hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd be shocked because I don't think I get too many people out of my subscriptions these days, watching the live streams at least. But please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up. Share the video if you think somebody would get something out of this. And guys, feel free to check out my website, real-crypto.com. I recently revamped a couple of things on it. I changed the menu here. We got services and webinars. And in services, we got a couple of things here. We got our Real Crypto Power Hour, which we do analysis like this every single day. Over an hour of analysis, usually about an hour and a half. And also starting a Real Stocks Power Hour for those of you interested in the stock market. We're going to do a Real Stocks Power Hour that actually goes a half hour before the open. This is actually wrong. It's a half hour before the open, do a half hour after the open. And so, yeah, that'll be good for you guys interested in stocks, which should be everyone in the U.S. If you're not interested in stocks there, I have no idea why. No idea why. So I did have a couple questions up here. Let me get to those. Zcash. Someone has been asking for Zcash. Sorry about that. Z Classic. I always get Zcash confused with some of the other ones. I think it's ZEC. Yep, it is ZEC. Okay. All right, so ZEC kind of has a flat bottom forming right here, kind of a declining wedge, basically. And it's basically sitting right on it. Sitting right on it right here. I would expect this actually to break to the downside. And so yeah, that's kind of that, to be honest with you. There's not much technically that says this is going to turn around. Everything technically here says that it really should implode. You've got a rising trend line here off of these recent lows right there. Rising trend line. The volume's not too bad though, but increasing volume on this recent down candle doesn't look too bullish. Right. Yep, okay, right there. It is that one. So rising volume breaking this little trend line here. Looks like we were looking at this in the power hour. And then this is the daily also. Keep that in mind. This is the daily chart. It's always important to know the time scale in which you're doing your analysis. So a little bit of good accumulation pattern right there. You know, so I guess that is one plus for the bulls, but unfortunately it continues to roll over, and if it gets much lower, it's probably going to break down off of these levels right here. So Zcash not looking super healthy. Zcash is doing awesome. Not quite sure if that is the case. EOS trying to hold up around that $7 level. EOS, what did we... Let me pull up the power hour spreadsheet. Did we have a note on EOS? Go through so many coins, I get a few confused. And EOS is one of those I get confused of. Don't know why. I mean, EOS is a pretty big coin. There it is. No, I do not have an up. That's an old note. Okay, so EOS BTC. Yeah, no wind here yet. No wind here yet. So EOS is in one of those situations right now. You can see here it had this big long drawdown, and then it had a run up. We had a drawdown here, then a run up. This run up was on the token swap. Oh no, this was 3. I'm on the daily, so this is March. Oh, this is against Bitcoin. That's why it looks weird. Okay, I usually do the larger coins against the dollar. Let me go to my top 20 US dollar here. There we go. Okay, this is the run up for the coin swap. Is it? Where the hell is it? June. I thought it ramped it. Did it top that early? I must have. Wow. Okay. Okay, I guess it topped that early. And in my mind, for some reason, I thought it topped right before. But now that I think about it, yeah, you're right. It didn't top right before. It pulled back down. So anyway, this is the run up into the coin swap. And then right now we're in a situation where we're living on this rising trend line against the dollar. And that's not a good thing. This is a long-term support line for EOS. And if this breaks, then we're kind of in uncharted territory where we're going to drift around a lot. We have a nice support level down here at the $4 level. This would probably be the next natural point for EOS to go down to if it breaks this trend line. It looks like it's already broken it. Volume is not super crazy though, so still could turn around, but right now it doesn't look like it wants to. I would not be interested in EOS. I don't really catch falling knives, ladies and gentlemen. That's not my trading style. I actually like to view chart patterns that have, reversals on them, something similar to this trend line here, even over these 4 days. That could be a buy signal. I wouldn't arbitrarily buy this candle, or this candle. I would wait for that trend line to break to get me into a coin or a stock or whatever the case may be. Where's Cardano going? Nowhere good. Nowhere good. We just went through all these coins this morning, just kind of looking for something, and we didn't really see anything, unfortunately. So if Bitcoin breaks down here past 58, guys, we're in bear market territory for the rest of the year. I don't really think there's a way to get out of it quickly or alive. We're just done for 2018. You may as well just like I said earlier, when we're in bear markets, I typically don't look at the charts very often. You may as well just kind of, do education, do research, write a program in something. Do something constructive instead of trying to play a bear market for bounces, because that can be very, very difficult to do. Now, if it turns around, that could be a different situation. But if we break that 5,800 level in Bitcoin, Cardano is going to be much cheaper. You'll see sub 10-cent Cardano more than likely. I mean, it's come all the way back down here, at least on Binance. I'm pretty sure it was out prior to December, so I'm not exactly sure where the low is in Cardano, but 12 cents is pretty darn cheap down here. Now, there's going to be some hodlers that say, it's a good value, it's a good bargain, and I'll give you probably in 2 to 3 years, maybe 4 years, probably sooner than 4 years. So let's say late 2019. Mid to late 2019, 12 cents will probably be a bargain. Okay, something like that. You'll be up 2 or 3x from here. I don't know exactly, but I can't say you're not going to see a 50% drawdown in Cardano before then. I mean, to be honest, like, this chart pattern does not imply anything good. Now, maybe not 6 cents. What are these lows here? 8 cents? That's crazy. Ronaldo, what's up, Ronaldo? How you doing, buddy? ETP just died. Really? It died? Are we gonna have to give it a funeral? Oh, yeah, I guess it did die a little bit, didn't it? Go from very nice tight price action to a couple of really big drops right there. So we're waiting for a potential pullback. If you do believe in ETP, then maybe this could be a potential place for you to get in and a bottom buy. Not my not my main style, but it is coming back to a prior high. So that can be good if you want to pull back here, but that's a ballsy trade, not my style. I like, see, we have this trend line here. We noticed there was a cup with handle here in ETP. We were hawking this for several days. I actually took the day off yesterday, and then it started going off right there. Broke this trend line, broke the cup with handle, broke this trend line, off to the races. Oh, interesting, Jake. Used to follow it closely? That's cool. Is Litecoin looking good? No, it is not looking good. Nothing's looking good, especially Litecoin. So we've had a bear flag in the top altcoins for quite some time. I'll take this to the daily chart. Why not? So here's altcoins long-term chart. Very long-term support line right there. And I put a video out when this broke. I think on the day or the day after it broke. Looks like about a month and a half ago. And we've been chopping around this area, bear flagging out around here. And now we've broken the bear flag to the downside. And we're slowly moving lower. Ethereum has a very similar situation with a bear flag. Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash also has the same bear flag. It looks like Bitcoin Cash is about to break it already did break the bear flag. So that is news, ladies and gentlemen. So this market could get pretty brutal pretty quick. Questions earlier, do you short Bitcoin here? Maybe the answer is yes. This is looking pretty bad. And the more I look around at the market, I'll try to keep a level perspective. I don't try to jump in and say just short, short, short. Because, I mean, usually things bounce when you get that happy. I mean, we already had a good short here. This would have been a good short. This is a good short up here on these breakdowns. And they can be difficult to time if you're not, if you're not sitting on the charts. To be honest with you, you really can't telegraph many of these moves with traditional chart patterns. They're more of a price action play. But if you're hawking them, you can get some good moves. What's the next big possible move for Bitcoin, up or down? Well, it's more than likely just going to grind lower. Very similar to the prior price action that we've seen in Bitcoin in the prior bases. It's probably just going to drop lower. Yeah, I got some people with the spreadsheet open. Yeah, I think everyone's anonymous hamster. Cool. But yeah, Girish, I'm not thinking that Bitcoin's moving up from here. You're not gonna find me really call bounce plays very often. That's really not what I do. I don't do bounce plays. I do very good chart pattern action, up or down. I try to look for volume confirmation. I try to look for, market cycle confirmation. That's kind of like, my new tagline is like one leg at a time while keeping the market cycle in mind, because that's all you can do in these markets. You can see what the next leg is and what's your market cycle. What's the most likely direction? Is it up or down? Right? That's really the bellwether to trading, is trading with the market cycle, yet making a profit during the next leg. That's pretty much all you can do. I don't think you can anticipate much more than that from a trading perspective. Now, from like a longer term holding perspective, that's a little bit different. But $20 Litecoin. Not sure if we get $20 Litecoin, but it's not looking super happy down here. Let's kind of take a closer look here. Not massive high volume breaking down. Where's this candle at? Okay, that is a big sell candle. Huge sell candle right there. That's the last big candle. Is it possible that NEO will go down more from here? Absolutely. NEO's not looking very good. Just under $27. I know we were looking at a trader that possibly had a stop at 31 on NEO. We also talked about this being a great short on NEO right at the cross of this trend line. You see these rising trend lines all over the place, and here's a very well telegraphed example of a good short trade, 33 down to 26. That's a pretty good percentage gain right there if you were on top of that. Although NEO right now coming back to this prior low level, definitely a potential area for a rest or a bounce even right there. But overall, I mean, from taking a long-term view of NEO right here, here's my longer-term trend lines. Already broken many of them, so I don't know if there's a whole lot of hope for support down here. It's, you know, we'll get it at some point. I can't say exactly where it's going to be. You know, if we really, the next couple days are going to be crucial. I think if we continue the route, it's going to be a very, very dangerous market. And man, it's such crazy territory. Like, look at this. NEO's a prime example of how insane the cryptocurrency markets are. You go from a chart where it's at zero, like quite literally, it looks like zero on the chart. So what's the high here? 14 cents in March of last year. That's a year and a half ago. Up to $200 freaking dollars, and then now we're at 26. That's insane. So guys, don't ever think crypto can't go lower. Don't ever think crypto can't do this. Don't ever think crypto can't do that. Your thoughts are wrong. This chart tells you the whole story. Right here. I mean, it tells you the entire story of the cryptocurrency market in NEO. I mean, 0 to 200 to 26. I mean, that's going to give you whiplash. So that's going to get. Michael says NEO will see triple digits, but when, Michael? When? What's your holding for the strategy? Like, that doesn't say anything, Michael. What does that mean? NEO will see triple digits. Okay, sure. When? 2019? 2020? When? Everyone that is on these YouTube, you know, or not everyone, but a lot of the people that are on these YouTube channels are very short-term traders. Very, very short-term traders. Most of them don't have the wherewithal to buy NEO at 26, hold it through $10. I'm not saying it's going to 10, just using that as an example, and then holding it as it goes back into triple digits. You know what I mean? So I'm really viewing it from an immediate term trending perspective. That's my perspective. You know, I agree longer term. I think a lot of these projects will see much higher prices. I can't say when that's going to be though, and I can't say NEO's not going to live below $30 for the next. You know, I can't say it's not going to live there for a year. I literally can't say that. I mean, I don't think anyone can. You can think it's not going to stay there for the next year, but I can think a scenario where it can. And both are just as valid. You know, both are absolutely just as valid. So, talking about an alt swing. So we were actually talking about an alt swing about a week ago in the power hour. I was actually, okay guys, maybe we'll get a little alt swing coming up here. Let's prepare for that. And the market just took that thesis right away from us. Just ripped it right away. I was kind of looking at this Ethereum situation right here. We had kind of this little symmetrical triangle right there. I thought maybe we go flat and sideways for a little while, and then we do something. You know, we would go up or whatever. Nope, let's just cave. Let's just straight up cave. What's up, Eli? Everyone say hi to Eli. So, okay, so Michael, I hold accumulate as much as possible, and hopefully, yeah, by 2020, innovation will take us to crazy highs. So first of all, innovation won't take you anywhere. Innovation takes you nowhere, Michael, just to be quite frank with you. Cryptocurrency, the cryptocurrency space is solely psychological. It's a solely psychological investing environment, period. Period. Solely psychological. So, yeah, if you want to hold for a year or two, I mean, if you've got the wherewithal to do that, that's great. That's perfectly fine. But like I said, a lot of the people that kind of, you know, frequent YouTube and these videos and stuff like this, really are shorter term traders, and they're really trying to find their way. And so I won't advise anyone to buy an asset that is pointing precipitously lower right now. That's kind of where I have to come from my perspective. That's I guess how I view my role, is that I wouldn't advise anyone just to arbitrarily buy right here. But I do have to admit that from the next $27, to coin something that Peter Brandt said recently, the next $27 move in NEO will be to the upside. I will definitely say that. It can't go a whole heck of a lot lower. The question is, even in the long term, is it worth, like, what is it actually worth? There's no way to properly evaluate a cryptocurrency from a fundamental standpoint. There's no price to earnings ratio. There's no book value. There's nothing. Like, there's nothing that can literally tell you the value of a cryptocurrency, other than whatever the market says at any given moment in time. This is the value of NEO right now. It's $26.89. That's it right there. $26.89. I agree, Eli. Ethereum's not going to zero. In fact, I think a lot of these coins on my top 20 list here are not going to zero. I don't think a lot of them, go bankrupt. I think there's just a much lower, we can still go lower. So at 26, if you want to drop another 40%, like what we just saw in Ven, you're at $16. It doesn't seem like a lot, but 40% is quite a bit. And we just saw that with Ven. We just saw Ven and VET, go through a massive crazy move. It peaked up here, looked like it was trying to break out, and then just dropped 40%. Guys, dropped 40%. That can't be understated. That is a tremendous blow to any account. Doesn't matter. If you want to hold a bag down 80% forever, that's your business. But I definitely cannot advocate that. I can't advocate holding bags down 40%. All right, so next move in Bitcoin, next support in Bitcoin. Got some questions. Is Bitcoin 5,000 possible? Yeah, absolutely. Bitcoin 5,000 is possible. As a matter of fact, I think if we breach this 6,500 level here, we're probably definitely going lower. I mean, to be quite frank with you, it's probably in the bag at that particular point in time. I think it's definitely going lower if we break 6,500. One of these levels, I don't know exactly where, but it's not bullish. Keep in mind, guys, the more times you test a support line, the more likely it is to break. And so I know a lot of guys have drawn this trend line going all the way back there. And so this has been supported 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. We get down here again to test it a 6th time, 7th time, then maybe we go lower. So, initially we were looking at this in terms of the 2014 market during this part of the cycle, and we were anticipating a pretty swift end to the bear market. It looked like it was going to end pretty quickly towards the latter part of May, June, maybe July, but with this not making a lower low, it pretty much extended that bear market. Now we're getting these oscillations, and we're just extending that market to the downside further and further, or further out in time, I should say. So, further out in time. Michael, thanks for the comments, dude. You're making some good points. I know I'm hitting at you back, but thanks for coming right back at me. I'm not mad at you at all, buddy. That's awesome. Let's Michael's got a nice comment I'm going to read here in a second. It looks like yeah, 5,000 definitely possible. Yeah, we're not far at all. 73 to 5K. We've already done it. I mean, we've already made that percentage gain from 10K to 5,800, so why not from 8K to 5K? Doesn't really make any difference. The percentages are the same. It's just a psychological component as to, moving below that 5,800 level, 6,000 mark. When that happens, guys, it's gonna be a bloodbath. Unless there's some massive bulls sitting down here. Maybe there's some massive bulls sitting right here waiting for something. But unless you know who that guy is, I wouldn't count on him showing up. No, Gino, I'm not going to look at some weird ICO. Sorry about that. Not in this environment at all. Don't want people to even look at that. Take a look at Waves. Doesn't that look like a capitulation dump? Let's take a look at Waves. And anyone gets me interested when they mention capitulation dump. Ooh. Absolutely not. You have higher volume over here. Waves just looks like it's living in the dump. You know, man, these coins are getting so stupid low. It's all like, so think of it this way, guys. Here's another thing. I'll get to you in a second, Michael. I actually want to, I'll address your question. I don't want to forget this point though. Michael says, if you don't know what Metcalfe's law is, then look it up. It's worth as much as many users are on the network squared. By 2020 adoption, IMO will be much higher. Logic tells me price will increase. I'm familiar with Metcalfe's law. I don't know it in extreme detail though. I'm somewhat familiar with what you're talking about. The problem that I see though, Michael, is that there's no proper way to evaluate what that value is. So I understand that as the network increases, all the users make the network more valuable. I get that. The only fundamentals you have in Bitcoin, and I've said this for a long time, I've said this for quite some time, the only real fundamental metrics for crypto are like how many nodes there are. I don't know what value that gives, but it's a fundamental metric. How many users, the user growth, right? User growth. In percentages, it has to be in percentages. So the number of nodes, the user, which equals user growth over time, it would have to mean wallet adoption, which again goes towards user growth. Network usage, which would essentially be like, blocks over time, or whatever your metric is. That is what I would consider to be fundamentals. The problem is, at this point in time, we have no way of knowing at all what the dollar value are of those users. And the second thing that I think that a lot of people are missing with cryptocurrencies, which is why I think they're just tradable assets. I don't think you can hodl anything outside of Bitcoin. Is XRP being a good example. You don't even necessarily need most of these cryptocurrencies. You don't need them. You literally don't need any of them. You need EOS for the way it's doing its voting. You need the Ether, the Ethereum token, to facilitate transactions on that network. I'm not really up on some of the other ones. Cardano I don't think they've really mentioned, at least last time I checked, exactly what they were doing with their coin. I have no idea what Omisago does. We know what BNB is. I don't know if you need ZRX for anything. I don't know what usage that does. So the question is, how much in theory are these tokens actually worth? You know what I'm saying? Like if you go to CoinMarketCap, let's look at NEO, which is, had a pretty bad go out of here recently. We're looking at NEO at $27, saying it was super cheap. Well, if you view it from a stock perspective, 1.7 billion valuation, while that's not a big stock by any stretch of the imagination, for as much, is that pertinent? Is that a good valuation for what the NEO token is worth? Because from what I understood, by owning NEO, you got gas, which is what you actually used. So what the hell is the NEO thing even used for? Now, there's a technical answer to that, I'm sure. I'm just not aware of it, so I don't want to get too into the weeds with this. But my question is, if you go back to the Metcalfe's law debate, what is that valuation that you can exponentially expect an increase from? What is the actual valuation of what apps on NEO? How much money are they producing? Are you looking at total revenue of dApps on the network? It just depends on the valuation that you want to give it, I think. So work that out, Michael, and then we'll have a great conversation if you want to take on that project. Figure out, Ethereum is the best example because this has, some of the biggest network traffic for a distributed application platform. And is it worth 40 billion? How much is CryptoKitties worth? How much are the other whatever crypto dolphins or whatever they have out now? How much are those applications driving in terms of revenue? Are those numbers out there? And is it worth $40.7 billion? Eli says his crystal ball says we're going to eat dust until spring 2019. What's your take on timing? My general take on timing is if we break this 5,800 level, then we're definitely going to be into, just much deeper bear market. Definitely for the rest of the year. Definitely for the rest of the year. Spring 2019 seems pretty viable for me for probably starting to come out of the doldrums of this bear market. If we break that 5,800 level. If we don't, if we just kind of chop around here, then I guess it still kind of leads to spring 2019 if you do kind of a time series analysis on it. I'm sure there's some kind of weird time Fibonacci thing I can do. So look at the date ranges here between that. You've got 60 days, 60 days, 60 days. 60 days puts us in October. Another 60 days puts us at the end of the year. So about 2 more market cycles, we could potentially be into the end of the year, which you can probably still, at least right now, possibly anticipate us not even breaking this 8,500 mark. That's a possibility. That's a real big possibility. Now if we get some, so I have a potential for an inverted head and shoulders here drawn on my chart. We've been kind of talking about this during the power hours. Nothing I'm taking super seriously right now. However, if we come down to a point here and put in a nice reversal pattern and break this trend line here, then we have a higher low, and that is something we haven't seen since this base right here, and that would be significant. That I think would be significant. So we kind of have to wait to see if we're going to get a higher low at this moment in time and see where that takes us. Other than that, I think if we just consolidate and move lower out of, because we're going to get a consolidation down here. That's pretty much for certain. How long it's going to take, the form it's going to take, I have no idea. But at some point in time, we're going to get a big consolidation here, and the break up or down from that consolidation will probably tell the story about Bitcoin for the next 3 to 4, probably 3 to 6 months. I think it's really going to tell the story. Everyone's kind of looking for the next move. What's it going to do immediately? But sometimes you guys miss the bigger picture that, hey, we're in a weird place in the market cycle. We could potentially be ending the downward momentum in Bitcoin, or this is just another pop-up and we're moving lower. Those are our 2 choices right here. And I think that's a bigger battle to fight than whether we're going to bounce at, 68.50 or whatever the level is. I think that's the more important picture. I don't think you forget about that just for some shorter term gains. I think that's a little short-sighted. Hassan, what's up, Hassan? How you doing, buddy? Do I ever think the altcoins will ever recover? I know that will take a long time, but if we're out of the bear market, oh yeah, absolutely, altcoins will recover. Absolutely, some of the really bad ones will be relegated into the depths of the cryptocurrency sphere. Like if we go down here, we can see some of the cryptocurrencies of old. Komodo was big back in the day. I think Ardor is one of the ones that was big back in the day, sitting here at 100 million market cap, which is nothing. I mean, it's really nothing. Bitcoin private already down here sitting where it's actually still way overvalued. It hit 100 million. A Monaco coin, which was really big, up in the mid-teens, if I recall, down at 76. So you're going to see the projects rotate out of the top and just move down here into the basement with the rest of these like garbage coins like Pivx, ARK. What else? What else is an oldie but not goodie? Apparently 10x. I used to like 10x, but the market doesn't like it, so I can't get on board with that one. I mean, there's so many old coins that were once market leaders. Like Zcoin, I think, was big at one point in time. We've got Factom's been around for a long time. Z Classic's been around. What else we got down here? Storage at one point in time was much bigger than 124th. I don't think it got above 40, but it was still bigger. There's a lot of coins. Salt. Remember when Salt ICO'd and everyone freaking was orgasming over Salt ICOing? Yeah, that worked out really well. So, guys, it's not about hype. It's about network usage. It's about actual utility, okay? It's not about the hype or the Reddit threads or the fastest blockchain or, you know, whatever you want to call it. It's really about who is using the network. REQ, remember REQ, and everyone loved REQ, and that wasn't too long ago. That was like 4 months ago. 33 million market cap. This I think had like a billion market cap for a while. It had a huge market cap, 630 billion down to 33. So you're going to see all these altcoins relegated into the basement, just being destroyed because they're worthless. They're really worthless. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that because it's the truth. And the market's telling you it's the truth. I don't even have to tell you it. If you listen to the market, it'll tell you what it wants to do with these coins. Viacoin's been out for a long time. Metal's been out for a long time. 25 million market cap in Metal, guys. 25 million market cap. That's insane. This is just, I don't know if this is overdone to the downside or what, but these numbers are, Navcoin was big for a while because it had a cool logo. But, you know, you're going to see a lot of these altcoins that really can't hold their salt, really don't have a good network, just really delegated down here to these higher numbers. Wow, ZR District X DNT 18 million? Good God. Everyone was talking about that one. So, guys, look for your favorite blockchain of 6 months ago. It's going to be down here. It's going to be down here. So, you know, there's only about 30 cryptos worth a damn, to be honest with you. Probably about 30 worth a damn. The rest of them are just pump and dumps. And that's pretty much what you're witnessing here, is just the slow death of the altcoin market. And a lot of these, I mean, you can see here we go from 1.7 billion on one screen to 431 million. That's a pretty big breadth in terms of market cap. So will the altcoins return? Some of them will. Some of them will. They're probably on the top half of the screen here. The rest of them are going to be garbage. Probably 4 or 5 in the top 20 are going to be relegated down into the doldrums as well. Probably a couple will take their place. Like this Tezos just popped out of nowhere. I don't know where the hell this thing came from. Like, look at that. Popped up in December. I don't even remember this. Apparently it had a 2 billion market cap, or 1.6 billion market cap. And then, I mean, now it's slowly rolling over. You know, so a lot of these are going to rotate out and down. So if you guys have a pet project that you're like, oh, I really like this coin, blah, 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 don't shoot yourself in the foot. Okay, do some research. Check out the actual network utilization, number one, if you're looking at fundamentals. Number two, look at the price action. Is it holding up at all? What is this in Litecoin? That's weird. You know, that's really weird. You know, look at the daily chart on your coins. Don't just sit there and stare at the 2 hour, the 4 hour, whatever. Look at the daily charts. They'll tell you a really clear picture. Don't forget about the halving process. The halving process in 2020 and so on. Supply demand will play a role. All fundamentals, but it works together, says Michael. So the halving process, yeah, absolutely in 2020. It's not 2020, my friend. You got about a year and a half until 2020. A lot of bad things can happen until then. But I do agree with you. The halving process will have a bit of something to do with it. There's a lot of people hodling Bitcoin out there, which means, I mean, like I said, I don't mind people hodling Bitcoin, but hodling anything else is an extraordinarily high gamble, high risk gamble. And then Alex says below 6K means less than 100 billion market cap, which puts the futures at risk. I think that level will be strongly defended. I don't know about futures at risk. That is not a thing, Alex. The futures don't really care about the Bitcoin market cap. They just don't. It's not a thing. You know, and again, there's a keyword there that says think. And usually when you have a potential thought, you know, it's usually may not work out well. If you're luckier than most, Alex, that'd be fantastic. But when you say, I think the level will be defended strongly, I will wait and see if the level will be defended strongly, and then I will know it's being defended. That's pretty much how I view that. Now what we see here is the level has been defended a few times already. The problem is they will stop defending the level. How long, how many bricks in this wall are you going to, are you capable of holding up when the rest of the army is beaten down the other side of it? That is something that no one really thinks about. Yes, it's defended, but at some point it will fail. And the people that are defending it will eventually stop believing in it, and they will eventually let it fall. Because guess what? It's their money at risk. This isn't fake money, guys. This is real money people have to put in the markets to support these levels. This isn't, this isn't manipulation, okay? This is real money at work. All right, take a look. Do I think TRX is worthless? I think they're all worthless. I'm probably the most negative person in the cryptocurrency space. Don't get me wrong, guys. I think you can make money on this stuff, but a lot of these charts are just destroyed at this moment in time. I think TRX, so here's TRX, right? Have a long-term trend line right here. It's deeply broken, this trend line. This is a deep break of this trend line. It's still up quite significantly. Oh, a point I wanted to make earlier, and this is the one I didn't want to forget, so I'm kind of glad I didn't. So we talked about the altcoins. We talked about how they all suck. And what I want to mention is that there's some that maybe don't necessarily suck as bad. Ethereum doesn't suck as bad. EOS doesn't suck as bad. Stellar doesn't suck as bad. Cardano, for some reason, is up here and still doesn't suck as bad. So the market is telling you the coins that they believe are valuable. Okay, these are the coins the market believes are valuable. And when you have Ethereum up here, let's take a look at Ethereum. Let's look at some of these top coins against the dollar. So looking at Ethereum up here, so its low was down here, at what, a penny or something like that, and high of 1400, back down at 400. So there's a much bigger spread here between 0 and 400 than NEO at 27 to 0. Does that make sense? So they're obviously valuing Ethereum much higher than NEO at this point in time. So the market is showing you the coins that they will support, or at least not sell off as strongly. They're telling you the coins that they would like to maintain, and Ethereum is one of them. We see XRP. I don't know if this is one of them. I've got mixed opinions on XRP. It's not really its own network platform, though. You've got EOS, which is still up, relatively strong. Up here at $6. There's a lot of price action here in between. So, EOS is still fairly high. So Cardano is one of those, even though it has a high market cap. I have a feeling I'm not getting the full story here in ADA. What's a good one to pull up ADA from? I guess, what do I have it on here? Binance. I have it on Binance. Let's look at, I guess, Bittrex. Nope, that didn't work out. Anyway, the whole synopsis is that the coins that are holding up the highest and holding up the best are typically going to, are your strongest coins. Now, if and when the market rebounds, does it mean it's going to have the best percentage gain? Probably not. But if you did want to hodl a coin, I think you would hodl a coin that the market really respects. And that's obviously Ethereum. That's been known since day one. Ethereum has been a highly respected coin. And that's really the only one I think that isn't in serious trouble, although it's still in trouble. It's still in big trouble, breaking this bear flag, moving down towards this trend line. I mean, everything's in trouble. But really, the point I wanted to get across is you're seeing all these other coins just, let's take name's a good one, because it's a high market cap coin. I guess in relative terms, it's on my top 20. So where's it at? 16. That's a pretty high market cap coin. And so you've got NEM here going up to $2 all the way down to 14. You can see the big spike up, and this is obviously irrational exuberance right here. Now we're coming down to kind of the mean, kind of the mean level in NEM, and it's not really jumpy. So we're just living in a flat area in NEM. So this is getting back to its equilibrium in terms of what it's valued at, and you're seeing that in a lot of these cryptocurrencies. But even looking at NEM, what's its market cap? 1.35 billion. I mean, it's seen better days, obviously. I think it was like an 8 billion market cap coin at one particular point in time. Yeah, I agree, Eli. Litecoin's pretty dead. It's pretty dead. It's really failing to bounce. Um, we had some measured moves and some calculations up here that said we were looking at like $45 Litecoin, which, I mean, that's crazy. That's just insane. $45 Litecoin. So I don't know, guys. I'm caught between a rock and a hard place here. I'm gonna go back to the bottom here. I'm gonna call the stream here in a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. Get some last minute questions in, but I do want to talk a little bit about kind of the bigger picture for cryptocurrencies and in all this price action, basically. So I mean, we're coming to a situation. And I think I don't know if it was Michael or someone else. So I think it was someone else mentioned that if Bitcoin was at X dollars, we'd be at 100 billion market cap valuation in cryptocurrencies. Well, where's 100 billion? Right about there. So that's right about 100 billion, give or take, in the cryptocurrency marketplace. So what happens if we get down here? Is it the death of the crypto market? Is everyone going to go away and go back to their mud huts and just walk away from this thing that was crypto that made some people rich and some people broke? I don't know the answer to that question. I do know that this has been a very interesting trading experience for me. Very, very interesting trading experience. Man, 24/7 market, something that trades this well, it's been fantastic. I don't want it to stop ever. I don't want it to stop ever. One day it will, though. One day it will, though. Not that the market's going to die, but I probably just won't want to trade it anymore. The point I'm trying to make is that as we get lower in these prices, there is a point where you just have to buy some to hold. I don't know where the point is. For some people, I think it was Michael. Was it Michael? I think it was Michael who I was chatting with there. Yeah, so for Michael Manfro here, maybe for him it's NEO at $20. Maybe that's a level for him where he thinks that NEO is undervalued, and so maybe NEO at 20 he's going to buy it. Maybe it's Litecoin at 50. Maybe it's Bitcoin at 3 or 4,000. But I'm a chartist. I go by the charts and I go by the price action. And when we finally see a level that's like really too good to be true, and you start to see really high volume at really low levels, you just got to get involved. Okay, that's when you see those big capitulation moves. Keep in mind, guys, not everybody in the cryptocurrency market watches these YouTube videos. I don't know how many people that trade or are invested even knows what the term capitulation even means. All right, so just because everyone, there's only 130 people here, just because 130 people have heard the term capitulation, doesn't mean that the other, 3 million do. Okay, there's going to be people out there that are going to be scared. They're going to want to liquidate positions. And when these things have these stupid low prices, I still think you have to respect the chart. You have to respect the chart and the chart pattern until you see something that changes in the marketplace. Okay, I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be a capitulation move. I don't know exactly what it's going to be. But when we see that change in the marketplace, that's when you can't be shy with the trigger. You have to be very active with that trigger, and you have to pull it and put the money at risk. But I don't think right now is the time. The charts don't scream turnaround. It doesn't scream bounce. We have basically we have a bouncing ball which is slowly bouncing lower. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just the momentum is waning. It's not that, and there's no, usually not a magic guy down here to support some level that you think is important. It's whatever that individual, whatever that whale, the institution, whoever wants to get involved is whenever they think it's undervalued, whenever they want to get involved. And we have no control over what they do. All we can do is watch the market action and participate. And that's why I don't anticipate, is because when you anticipate, you're running off of a false narrative that you're creating in your head. So it's kind of all I got to say about that. But yeah, so right now is a time to be defensive. right now is not a time to play hero and just arbitrarily go long because something seems inexpensive. As we've seen with Ven and a few other cryptos, things can get less expensive and less expensive and less expensive. So let me answer a few questions, guys, and I'm going to get out of here. A review of credits. I don't think so, Michael. I don't even know about credits. I'm assuming it's some crap small altcoin. Would I be wrong about that assumption? So a pretty small token, 1217 Satoshis, was up once at 35,000 Satoshis. So looks like it's fallen from grace quite significantly. You know, I don't really buy these really small coins, although they can have some tremendous gains when they actually do pump. I do kind of have to give credit on that. So, I mean, nothing technically here says, you know, buy me, buy me, buy me. I mean, there's plenty of technical signals over here. You know, there was a good technical signal there that could have taken you up 1,000% if you would have waited for that. But, you know, I think library credits probably will move with a bull market. So until we get that, I'm not sure. Well, you didn't give me a symbol there, Michael. It's kind of hard for me to pull a symbol out of my butt. CS. Thank you, Alex. And it's not pulling up here. CS. KuCoin. This one? Oh, this is garbage. From a technical perspective, there's nothing enticing about this at all. Yeah, I don't know what I don't know what else to say. I just don't know what else to say. There's really nothing enticing. It's living at lows. The volume's declining on this ramp up here. It'll probably roll back over again and head lower. What's up, R. Pete? I got R. Pete in the house. Chris Sampson, I feel like the OKEx liquidation may influence the futures market. 460 million is a lot to cover, and OKEx solvency is at stake. They need a real pump. Yeah, maybe, Chris, maybe, or maybe the people that are doing the arbitrage between Bitcoin will kind of drop OKEx from that in case they do a bunch of weird stuff. But yeah, that's an interesting situation. I heard about that the other day. Not quite sure what the full details are with that, or if that's even a true post. I'm sure it's been validated from more than one angle, but yeah, that's really weird. That is really interesting. There could be a big pump on that short covering, but I don't know. Maybe they have ways to work around that. ALAG, going back to EOS Bitcoin on the 2-hour. All right, so let's take a look at that. We got EOS. EOS Bitcoin on the 2-hour. What is your take on the decline in volume over the last day? Any chance in a breakout from long-term falling wedge? Yeah, so there's this kind of bigger, broader falling wedge here, and it looks like there's probably another trend line in play right here, which I don't have drawn. So yeah, depending on how you want to draw that, yeah, possibly if the market gets a little pump here, I mean, absolutely, I think EOS could possibly do something. You see, this is the last time that we had a similar situation here, and it looks like it kind of had a rally, but it wasn't a big rally. I don't know what the volume is here on EOS in terms of, you know, going from these peaks to these troughs, but yeah, absolutely, I think EOS looks like it's trying to pierce the trend line right now. Not quite sure how high it wouldn't take much volume to get this thing going if this volume is like true actual volume numbers. It wouldn't take a lot to get this going here. And you know, if we can get a rally in some cryptos, this one may be a good one to watch out for. Got in BNB USD. Let's take a peek. At 1363. Looking for a stop. Why does this look so weird to me? Kind of a hard trend line to draw right there. Maybe have to do this one. $13.63. Yeah, I'd probably have to say these recent lows are Pete, unless you're willing to give it more than 6.5%. Down at 1274, 1270 level, something like that. That's almost 7% right there. If you want to give it all the way down here, that would increase your exposure to double at about 16.4%. And based on all this volume right here, where this volume decline stopped and came in, technically this should be a level of pretty big support. So if you give it enough wiggle room down here, then you may be able to withstand a swing or two. But it hasn't been very, BNB against the dollar hasn't been doing a whole lot. It's really just been kind of flat and rolling over. I don't know if it's, I'm not a big fan of this particular trade. I think a bottom, if you wanted to take this, probably a bottom buy when it was a little scary is probably the better bet. But that's probably where I'd put my stop right now. I'll give you about 6.5%. A lot of big traders don't like to short. Can you explain why this is such a prevailing opinion and is different in crypto? Shorting's a very interesting thing to do. So when you're shorting, you're buying or you're borrowing a coin and you're selling it, and then you're hoping to rebuy it later at a cheaper price. Basically, if you get caught up in the wrong side of that trade, okay, if it starts to rally on you like huge, and you have to cover your position very quickly, you're going to pay a massive premium. So it is a lot of risk. There's a lot of risk involved in shorting because, I mean, you can see right here, we've had these two big up thrusts. Let's say some idiot felt like shorting, came down here, we popped up and felt like shorting here. They would have got their ass handed to them as they ran up. And if they had a large position, they really wouldn't be able to exit that position without paying up a tremendous amount. So if you get caught up in a breakout while shorting, it can be brutal. And a lot of traders, number one, don't have to take on that kind of risk exposure. A lot of them don't want that kind of risk exposure, and they're just that's basically it. They're not willing to take the risk because you get caught in a big whipsaw like that. If a big buyer comes in and tries to take you out, it can be brutal. Well, Ben Collins, those are pretty much the two things. Those are two of the two things that can happen, basically. So I said a little while ago that we're basically about 6 days down into this little romp in the market right now. 6 days to the downside. At some point that will stop. You will have a pause day or a rally day or something like that. I think in time this moves lower. I don't know if right now it's going to move lower immediately. It's due some kind of a rally. It's been coming down quite significantly. If this thing keeps going lower, that's really bad. That's really, really bad. So I think at some point we're going to get a bounce. Something like this. Nothing crazy. We don't have to have a huge rally, but some kind of a relief. Some kind of a relief. Or if this just continues going lower and there's no buyers in sight, this is going to get very bad very fast. And then 5,800 is going to be here before you know it. Opinion on ETF approval. So that's interesting because the SEC, there's a guy with the SEC that came out, pretty much what caused this mini dip right here on Bitcoin. There's a mini dip. Is this one or this one? I forget exactly. But someone talked about the Bitcoin ETF being approved and mentioned a couple of things that were fundamentally what crypto is. You know, it wasn't even necessarily anything that they could fix to address the issues. So from that perspective, I don't think it's getting approved. But apparently we just got a new SEC chairwoman. So and it sounds like she's very on top of innovation. She says we need to innovate. She says we need to be open to new things. And so I think maybe she's swinging in the favor of allowing the ETF, which I think it would be good. I don't think there's a bad thing regarding a Bitcoin ETF, but I'd probably say 65-35 for approval. I think just based on the new chairwoman's her tone lately, just based on her tone. Oh, that's right, Eli. Real Stocks. So for those of you that don't know, I actually have a Real Stocks channel. I haven't been super active as of late, but I do have a Real Stocks channel. And if you guys are into the stock market, feel free to check that out. Go to Real Stocks and find me there. It's a new channel I post. I only have a few videos up. Only have 348 subscribers right now. And did a live stream this morning. I will be doing live streams all this week if you guys are interested in that. From half hour before the market opens to a half hour after the market opens. So feel free to check me out on my channel here, Real-Stocks. Subscribe and hit that alerts button so you know when I start those live streams. Thanks for mentioning that, Eli. Got it, but that was not the ETF, which is still remaining for consideration. Correct? You are correct, Jeremy. There's another ETF up for consideration, and that is the one that they are. That's the one that they are talking about or have been talking about. Brandon, I love the short. Just made a shit ton on ETP. Join the Power Hour. You will learn so much. Well, thanks, Brandon. Yeah, guys, if you're not joining the Power Hour, I don't know what the hell you're doing with your day. CBOE ETF supposedly to pass in August or September. If ETF passes, what do you think Bitcoin goes to? I don't know. You know what? That's kind of a fool's game, I think. You know, you play the price action, you play what the market gives you, and nothing else. You play nothing else. If it rallies due to the ETF, that's fine. Then you know why it's rallying, and that's a good thing to have that information. Outside of that, you just go with the price action. You just have to go with the price action. So, I'll look at KMD. That'll be the last one to look at, guys. See how much garbage this looks like. Looks like garbage. Pretty much looks like garbage right there. Guys, pointing lower. Not a good thing. Living lower. Coming back to prior lows. Maybe a place where it could bounce, but I highly doubt it. Nothing really right now looks super bullish. So if the market reverses, it'll be probably, I don't know what would really cause it to reverse right now. But it's not looking great. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining me. I'm going to get out of here. Guys, have a good day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And check me out for the Real Stocks Power Hour, Real Crypto Power Hour. And check out my website, real-crypto.com. I got a couple webinars. I will be doing a couple more coming out here in the next month or so. So thanks very much for joining me. Check these out. See you guys later. Have a good day.